The main issue is that Vladimir Putin does not think that Ukraine should be an independent country. And you don't need to believe me. He said it very explicitly himself. He's even written a long article recently explaining that he thinks Ukrainians and Russians are part of the same nation. And therefore, Ukrainian independence for him is a problem. And Ukrainian democracy for him is also a problem. So he's upping the ante. I want to be clear about this. Putin has fabricated and created this crisis. This crisis didn't exist before. He created it by putting 100,000 troops on the border with Ukraine. And he is now threatening Ukraine and threatening the West. He's threatening to use force unless President Biden and other NATO allies give him security guarantees that NATO will never expand again. And I think he puts President Biden in a very hard place because no American leader has ever agreed to that before. No NATO leaders ever agreed to that before. And that, I think, creates a very difficult set of negotiations in January. Putin is demanding things that Biden can't deliver. And I think the real question is, will he back away from his maximalist positions in order to find something that could be more of a compromise between Russia and the West?
And speaking of that compromise, Ambassador, does this put the potential annexation of the Donbass region in play as well? Because that's obviously something that's been raging on for the past 8 years or so. Is that something that you could foresee happening?
Tragically, yes. I think it is in play. Remember, if you think about history, it's very rare that government leaders and dictators and Democrats, even American leaders, make ultimatums that nobody knows they can meet as a way to begin negotiations. The fact that Putin has published his treaties in draft by himself, he just wrote them all for everybody and said, okay, agree to this or else. That suggests to me that this might be more of an ultimatum than a first gambit at negotiation. And if it is, yes, I think annexation of Donbass would be one, not the only, but one of the military options that Putin might have should the talks break down in January.